This is just a quick video for melee builds struggling or just trying to figure out a way to handle the triple Crystalian fight without a summon, a player summon that is. So normally I'm just using a big greatsword. That's sort of the way I've always played Souls games. And for this fight, it's just really not an option, because the only way you can do damage to them is when you stun them and you get that riposte. But if you use a blunt weapon, like the club for me, it just makes this fight easier because you're doing regular damage to them on your hits, in addition to getting the damage you get from a riposte. So to just show you really quick with what we're working with here, and you can pause to see my stats on the right. I've got the plus 13 club and a plus 12 Manor Great Shield. This is the sword I normally use, but again, it's just wasn't really an option. And the club does less damage, technically, but against these guys, it's doing more damage. So this is definitely the strat for the Crystalians, and for any caves like this where you're dealing with the rock enemies. Again, even with a highly upgraded greatsword, it takes multiple hits to kill enemies, and it's just, it makes the dungeon a lot more difficult than if you're just using a club, using a blunt weapon. It makes things much easier to do, much more smooth sailing. And so yeah, let me just take you through the fight really quick, just so you can sort of get a feel for how I tackled it. And you can try and do the same thing if you're also a melee sword build. So the first thing you want to do, and just so you know, my Wondrous Flask is a strength buff and that little bubble, but it's already broken by the Spellcaster. The Spellcaster is the worst enemy here, because it's just the attacks stun you. They do massive rot buildup. So, as you can see, all I'm really doing, and that's one of her close-up attacks, by the way, that she just did. All you're doing with the club or whatever blunt weapon you're using, just do quick jump attacks, because this one has the least mobility out of all three of them. So just keep doing jump attacks or charged attacks really close. Keep riposting them, and then just get her down really fast. And once you do, and you can see my summon's already dead, but it did the job. It got the other two off of me just in time for me to be able to kill this one. And once that one's dead, the fight becomes a lot easier. Now the next one you want to target is actually the spear guy, not this one. This one I always leave for last, but this one was right here, so may as well get that damage in. And I'm pretty sure I'm about to get inflicted with Scarlet Rot, but that's fine because it really doesn't do that much damage overall. It'll just tick away slowly, but if you're doing the fight this way, it's so easy that it doesn't really matter. Now, right there you saw, this is the advantage of bringing in the Great Club. Or, apologies, the Great Shield. Because it stuns the spear dude, who is so annoying. If you don't have a shield, like I usually don't, and you're just trying to roll out of the way, you're trying to roll while also evading these little shurikens that the other one's throwing, and it's just a major pain in the butt. So for the spear guy, just keep your distance, and right there you can just use your guard counters every time he does it. I wasn't really doing it because I'm just so not used to using a shield. But yeah, as he's jumping at you, just wait for him to get close, and then you guard counter as soon as you stun him. And eventually, with enough guard counters, like right here, you'll be able to just riposte him and do massive damage. And now that this one's left, this is the other nice part about the Great Shield. It is a pretty nice Art of War charge that stuns him. And yeah, there you go. Nice and easy. So again, use a blunt weapon, use a Great Shield, and this fight becomes so much easier for us melee builds.